I am the Deputy Executive Director, J31, which is Operation and Sustainment. Our mission is important because it's a customer-facing one. We are engaged and we support the customer with our warfighter support. I've also been a customer of DLA, and I understand the impact that it has on the warfighter and the worldwide reach that it has. So I really believe in the mission. I served in the Army for 30 years as a logistician, 1989 to 2019. In 2008, I was a battalion commander for the 501st Brigade Support Battalion. It was a battalion of 1,163 soldiers. And we deployed as a part of the 1st Brigade, 1st Armored Division to Kirkuk, Iraq. And like many deployments, you do the whole ramp up and you deploy and you get ready for the mission with the outgoing unit. What was different for me was that in my role, I was tasked with providing escorts, non-tactical escorts. Every once in a while, I'll go out on the mission with the soldiers. If they're facing danger, I wanted to face the same dangers with them. So I decided this was going to be a mission that I was going to also participate in. And in this mission, it was to take an ambassador to see the Torture Rehabilitation Center in downtown Kirkuk, Iraq. Its purpose was the rehabilitation of Iraqi citizens who were tortured by the Saddam Hussein regime. So we took all the steps in terms of the pre-briefs and the whole mission set of getting ready for the support. We went to the compound, picked up the ambassador, an uneventful trip into the city, and we arrived at the Torture Rehabilitation Center. We dismounted. I escorted the ambassador inside the building. After she was inside of the building, she invited me to participate in the meeting, but I said I just wanted to go back out and check on my soldiers because it was an extremely hot day that day. I just remember it just being so hot. And most days were hot, to tell you the truth, but it's just something I remember. It was hot. And sometimes when it's hot, you may tend to cut corners. So I just wanted to check, make sure everything was going well. So there was a 8 to 10 foot wall that encircled the rehabilitation center. So I was going out because my soldiers were arrayed on the outside of the wall, covering down on the inner cordon of the center. So I was walking toward the opening to go out into the street. And I can remember stepping out, and I can remember looking to the right with the thought in my mind, look right, then look left, oddly. But after I looked right, I felt like an impact. It just felt like a force. It was just this wave. It felt like if a bat were to hit you, and the impact and the concussion would just make your body react. But the only thing I remember is just my head snapping back and looking up. And I can remember the material fibers from my auto tactical vest just kind of just floating in the air. And I remember saying to myself, that's odd. But soon after that, things really sped up, and I could hear things. I could hear glass breaking, but I couldn't see the glass break. And then an NCO, my personal security detachment, Staff Sergeant Lugo. Staff Sergeant Lugo pushed me back through the opening in the wall. And, he's yelling, he's saying, you were hit. And I don't know what's going on. I didn't lose consciousness. I remember feeling the impact. I remember looking up, seeing the particles floating, but everything else was just a rush. I was taken to the field medical hospital, and where I was admitted. But I will tell you, of all the things from that experience, because it's not until after it's over, you start thinking about what are the things that led up to it, the what ifs, and it just kind of runs through your head. And one of the what ifs was when we deployed with the SAPI plate, but they were ceramic. And while we were already deployed in country with those SAPI plates, which was protection, but it was deemed that it wouldn't withstand the blow of a 7.62 round. So then the ESAPI was determined as what the soldiers on the battlefield should be wearing. And then that became the process of how do we get ESAPIs to the soldiers that are already deployed with these ceramic plates? And DLA became the arm that provided that support. And I will tell you, at the time, as a young lieutenant colonel, I had heard of DLA. I had a sense of what the mission was, just from a strategic level organization, really living between the industrial base and combatant commands, but never have served in it or dealt directly. But there was a DLA rep on the Fort Operating Base I was on who was providing updates, So we received updates, the SAPI plates arrived, the SAPI plates are here ready to be drawn, and then, make an appointment to draw them. And 1 week after my organization drew those SAPI plates is when I was shot. So the what if is, if DLA doesn't do its magic and get those SAPI plates, because it wasn't months from when I found out, that ceramic plates were a problem, that we received the ESAPIs. And it was because of the ability of DLA to get it on the battlefield that fast. So from that point, I don't know if indebted is the word, but I can definitely say I'm appreciative of the mission that DLA performs every day. But I would say that everyone in DLA is closer to making a difference than they may think, because you never know. It's just that sometimes you don't see the impact of your efforts. You just have to know that they're making an impact somewhere. And I'm one of the people, in terms of troop support, that made an impact on my life. We realized later that there was a sniper in the traffic circle that was facing the rehabilitation center. And apparently the sniper was, oddly enough, in the trunk of a vehicle, shooting from the trunk of a vehicle. And talking to the doctors and everyone, it was a matter of inches. I had a minor fracture on a rib and blunt force trauma to my back. I did earn a Purple Heart for that experience. I'm so humbled by it. I don't make too much of it. It's just one of those personal things that just kind of carry with me. From that point on, I stopped putting things off. I more so seized the moment. And quiet kind of gives me the opportunity, to ponder those things that are most important to me. Because sometimes life gets busy. Sometimes you just need time to yourself. And it just helps me out.